If you had asked us 5 years ago where we would be now, this wouldn't have been the picture. Different country, different pace, different priorities. This is episode 10, the final episode of our story moving abroad. In this one, we want to look back honestly at what has changed and what didn't. What moving abroad actually did to us as people. Over the last few weeks, we have shared everything. The admin, the house, the costs, the stress, the excitement, the tiny details no one talks about. But this episode is different. This one isn't about how we moved. It's about what happened after we moved. How life feels now, how we changed, and whether it was really worth it. When we look back at our life in the Netherlands, what stands out isn't a single moment. It's the pace. Life back then was busy. Not bad, just loud. Busy streets, busy schedules, busy minds. All swirling around in our tiny apartment. It felt full, but never quite still. And somewhere in that noise, we started dreaming of quiet space and a slower pace. That's what brought us here. The last 8 years has been a lot for us. A lot has happened. And without even realizing it, we were constantly overstimulated. Moving to Sweden didn't magically fix everything, but it gave us something we desperately needed. Space. Space in our days, space in our head, and space around us. And yes, we are genuinely happier now. One of the biggest changes is how little stress we feel now. Life here is quieter. There's less noise, literally and mentally. And because of that, we are much more present in daily life. We notice things again. Small things. The weather, the light, the silence. Something we're still actively unlearning is the idea that you always have to be productive. That being busy equals being valuable. Here, doing nothing feels allowed, even encouraged, and we still struggle with it. But we're learning. People often expect our days to look completely different now. But honestly, they don't. At least not on paper. We were already working for ourselves before we moved, so that part did not change. What did change is everything around it. There's less chaos, less background noise, less constant input. Our days feel calmer, more intentional, more grounded. And that makes a bigger difference than we ever expected. Nature has always been important to us, but living this close to it changed how deeply we feel that connection. Being surrounded by nature every single day relaxes us in a way nothing else does. It brings our nervous system down. It makes us breathe slower. And honestly, that's probably the biggest reason this move has worked for us. It's not really about Sweden as a country. It's about peace, quiet, space. That's what feels like home to us. This is something people ask a lot. Do we miss city life? Not at all. Do we miss convenience sometimes? Yes. We can't even get our groceries delivered here. Everything takes a bit more effort. But that effort actually makes life feel more intentional. If we need something, we put it on a list, plan for it, and then go get it. Instead of running to the store immediately, like we used to do in the Netherlands. Even for small things from places like the hardware store. And if we don't go, that's fine too. Somehow, that feels healthier. This part surprises people. Moving didn't really affect friendships for us, simply because we didn't have many in-person friendships to begin with. What it did do was make it very clear who truly matters to us. When you make a big life decision like this, you quickly learn the people who want to stay connected will, no matter the distance. With family, it actually feels pretty much the same. We call, we FaceTime, and for us, that's okay. Sure, we sometimes miss milestones, but it's never been a big deal for us. We don't put a ton of weight on celebrating every little thing. But overall, this life has been more than worth it. A question we get is, do you ever feel homesick? Honestly, no, we never really have. Another one, do you regret moving? Never, not even for a second. Do we feel like we fully belong in Sweden yet? Not necessarily. We don't speak fluent Swedish yet. We haven't really found our people yet. But we do belong in this kind of environment. Quiet, spacious, and close to nature. And that's what matters most to us. Did moving change our relationship? Yes, but in the best way. We rely on each other even more now. We built this life together, from scratch. Moving abroad strips life down to the essentials. And when you do that together, it brings you closer. Throughout this series, your comments have meant more to us than you know. From people who moved years ago and told us they never regretted it for a second, to people welcoming us to Sweden with a simple "Välkommen," like we already belong here. Introverts sharing that this country feels like a haven for them too. People explaining the allemansrätten and why being close to nature matters so deeply. Tips about bugs and mosquitoes, about choosing higher ground, about roads, about houses, and what Swedes might see differently than we do. We read comments from people making a similar move decades ago, from people who are dreaming to do the same, and from people who are still somewhere in between, watching, learning, quietly planning. There was so much kindness, so much patience, and so much genuine willingness to help us. It made us feel seen. It made us feel understood. And on days where everything felt a little overwhelming, it reminded us that we're not doing this alone. So truly, thank you for sharing your experiences, for correcting us when needed, and for cheering us on. This series became more than just our story. It became a conversation. And we're incredibly grateful for that. Where do we see ourselves in 5 years? Still right here, living our best life on the homestead. A bigger vegetable garden, maybe some animals, and who knows. We finally have space for other possibilities. And that's something we have never had before. Would we recommend this to others? Only if it's been something you have been dreaming about. Moving abroad isn't a solution to everything. But if you know deep down that you want a different kind of life, then yes, go for it. This series was never meant to convince anyone to move abroad. It was simply our story. What has worked for us, what didn't, and what we learned along the way. If you're somewhere in the middle, dreaming, doubting, planning, we hope this series has helped you feel a little less lost. If you've enjoyed this series, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want more personal updates, behind the scenes content, or just support us in what we are building here, our Patreon is always open. See you in the next chapter.